Good morning. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Wednesday, January 7th. Let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps. We're trading flat to lower, down 0.03, 0.04. You know, it's been this way for about an hour or so, where we're just seeing some slight weakness in the S&Ps. What are the moving headlines? President Trump announced that Venezuela is going to be selling oil from its storage to U.S. firms at market prices. Okay, that's not going to really affect oil prices too much, but President Trump is scheduled to meet with oil executives on Friday. There could be something coming out of that. Right now we're seeing, oil trade a little lower. On the economic calendar today, we had a lot of employment data. We get the ADP report. We get the JOLTS report coming out. They're all scheduled. In corporate news, it's a CES event, Consumer Electronics Show. This remains a key catalyst for today because, who's out there today? We got Caterpillar, we got 3M, we got Texas Instruments and Corning. They're all scheduled to give presentations today. There's something to watch. What else? I see Discord, the online chat program. They confidentially filed it for an IPO. That could be something coming up. We want to keep an eye on that one. Target and Yum Brands. They're embarking on new ad campaigns that they're out there talking about this morning. Warner Brothers Discovery, they rejected the latest Paramount bid in favor of Netflix. I mean, they just didn't feel it was superior. I mean, Netflix offers higher upside potential. That's a fact. On the earnings front, ticker AIR and Calm, CALM, Calmine Foods, they're both trading, strong after our earnings release. Looking ahead to tomorrow, you got RPM, you got LIN, LNN, and AYI. They're all scheduled to release. After the bell today, you get Stars, STZ, Constellation Brands is coming out. Taking a look overseas and seeing what's happening in Europe, we got the DAX. The DAX is up 162 points, or 0.65%. I mean, the defense stocks are running. They're trading high, and then financial shares are also showing some positive action. In London, the FTSE's getting hit. It's down 0.65%. The issue with the FTSE is, you're seeing weakness in energy. You're seeing weakness in mining stocks. That's causing that index to pull back. The CAC in Paris is flat, down 0.01%. Some weakness in energy, some weakness in luxury stocks. That's what's holding that index back from moving higher. Then we're turning our attention over to Asia last night, and we're taking a look at the Nikkei. The Nikkei actually fell 556 points. That's 1.06%. Equities weakened in Japan after news reports that China is going to start to impose export controls on certain minerals for use in military products to Japan. That caused some weakness in the Japanese markets. You look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong fell 0.94%. It's being described as profit taking. Ahead of some economic data that's coming out of China, some inflation data coming out of China later this week. But China, the Chinese market, it was up 0.05% on the day. The PBOC policymakers are talking about further cuts to the bank reserve requirement ratio in the interest rates this year to help bolster the economy. So yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. Then we're talking about oil, and we're looking at oil this morning, and oil is flat to lower. It was down about 0.8%, but now I'm just looking at WTI's at $57.06 a barrel. We got Brent at $60.82 a barrel. The geopolitical risk that has been associated with the removal of Maduro in Venezuela, that is starting to fade. And as that fades, we're going to see a little bit, you can see the prices come down a bit. But on the flip side, you also have the EIA data that inventory report is due out this morning, 1 hour after the market opens. So we want to keep an eye on that inventory report from the EIA. That could be a big catalyst for oil today. Now we're moving over to earnings, and we're talking about AAR Corp, which is Air. Listen, stock's trading higher. It's up nicely this morning. It's up 3.68%. They delivered a beat of 15 cents, and they did it on higher revenue. And listen, the market's liking it. The market's liking it. Then we got Calmine Foods, ticker CALM. Stock's up 1.8% this morning. They delivered a beat of 12 cents. but it was done on lower revenue, which is a little bit concerning for me. What else do we have? After the bell today, we got Constellation Brands, STZ. Their EPS is $2.66. Expected move is 5.95% on their release. Let's talk about economic events going on today. At 8:15 a.m., we got the ADP employment report that's coming out. What are the expectations? I have it here in my morning report. Looking for net job gains of 48,000. That's a moderate pace. Anything, around that number is going to be fine. It's got to be above the 40,000 mark. Then we also have the JOLTS report. Now, the JOLTS report's coming out after the market opens. That's more of a lagging indicator. This is November data, and so we'll have to see if that moves the needle on the market. But the point is if we start to see weakening employment data, that's going to perhaps bolster confidence for the markets that the Fed may lower interest rates sooner rather than later, which is, right now the expectations we might get a rate cut in April. They might push that up a bit if we start seeing some real weakening in the employment market. So at 8:15, the ADP employment report. 10 a.m., we get the ISM Services Index. 10 a.m., we get the JOLTS report. Then at 10:30, we get the EIA inventory report. And then at 4:10 p.m. this afternoon, Fed Governor Michelle Baumann is scheduled to speak. Okay, let's take a look at the market and see what we're seeing this morning. What do we got here? I got 18 Dow stocks higher. I got 1 unchanged and 18 lower. And 11 lower, excuse me. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. I'm seeing, mixed action, the FANG stocks. So we'll have to wait and see how these S&Ps, start trading today. Looking at some of the news behind the tape, and we're talking about Amazon. They're being accused of listing products from retailers without consent. Talking Google and Tesla. U.S. House Committee told hearings on January 13th regarding legislation to speed up self-driving car deployments. Meta Platforms said they paused its Ray-Bans rollout outside of the U.S. Warner Brothers, Netflix, Paramount doesn't says that the new Paramount offer doesn't meet the criteria of a superior proposal under the terms of the Netflix deal. Probably true. We're looking at Dow Jones 30 stocks, and we got to talk about Chevron. They're planning a bid with the private equity group for the international assets of Russia's Lukoil. Caterpillar, 3M, they're going to be presenting today at the CES conference. In terms of merger news, Mobileye, MBLY, they're going to be acquiring Mentry Robotics for $900 million in cash in stock deal. In terms of buyback news, CoStar Group, that's ticker CSGP, Charlie Sam Graceball, they announced a $1.5 billion share repurchasing program. AZZ Corp, their board approved a 20 million share repurchasing program. Okay, let's move on to the stock of the day section, and I'm going to go with Applied Digital, APLD, Apple Paul, Larry David. Listen, earnings are out after the bell, and right as of late, the momentum's been very positive. I like what I'm seeing there. They're expected to lose a penny, but the expected move on the stock is 14.77%. You look at yesterday's call volume, 63,900 calls traded to 32,535 puts. Open interest, 544K to 242K. It's more than 2 to 1. And, it's not really covered by the major brokers, but the smaller brokerage houses that do cover it, they're hot on it. They got strong price targets. They're raising price targets. I saw one raise the price target from 20 to 40. There could be something here. Hoping to get in and out today with the gain. I don't really want to walk into earnings, but we'll have to wait and see how that holds up. But I want to get in under 30 or low 30s. That's kind of my. My entry point is around $30, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. But APLD, Apple Paul, Larry David, that's my pick of the day. Okay, let's move on to see what's happening in the markets today in our hot off the press segment. Let's see what we got here. Johnson & Johnson submits a robotic surgical system to the FDA for review. Nice, NYSE to become option listing venue for MSCI indexes. That's probably a good deal for them. Alcon terminates deal to acquire Star Surgical STAA. Lilly LLY enters into an agreement with Nimbus Therapeutics to develop oral meds for obesity. So Yum Brands, they own Pizza Hut, and they announced an ad campaign featuring Tom Brady entitled Pizza Before the Hut. And the goal is to get a quarterback of a college team or an NFL team to say pizza before the hut. So, and if that happens, they're going to give out pizzas apparently. GSK, European Commission approved Shingrix in a pre-filled syringe. Lilly enters into an agreement with Nimbus Therapeutic to develop oral meds for obesity. Okay. GameStop announces a long-term performance award for Chairman Ryan Cohen. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, now we're going to move on to yesterday's pick of the day, which was Coinbase, COIN. Listen, look at the numbers. I mean, the numbers are really everything here. I mean, the stock did have some decent movement in the early morning session. I mean, it opened up at 255.21, and then it hit a high at 258.35. But then it weakened. There was a negative news story about not being added to an index, and just weakened from there. But you look at the stock now; it's still trading 250, but it did break that 1% early in the session yesterday. But not off my entry price. It opened up 255.21, jumped to 258.35 in the first 15 minutes of the day. So it was there. But the momentum changed when some negative news articles hit. But coin is still interesting to me. All right, traders, that concludes NewsWare's Trade Talk for today. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.